did the scrimmage go today? I guess we've heard the offensive side of it. How'd the defense play?
We played okay. You know, it was up and down. You know, they played hard and fast, I thought. But, you know, we had a couple busts out there. So, but, you know, like I said, it's the first scrimmage, and, you know, you want to see the guys just get out there and play hard and, you know, just see them play a little bit. So, you know, for that, it was okay.
It was the first chance to really, you know, be physical and see how that went. Were you getting the emphasis that you've had there? Were you getting that from the guys on the field today?
I thought so. You know, the whole thing is our style is we want to be physical, you know, and at times I thought we were. The one thing we have to clean up are the busts. So, you know, we did. To me, if they earn it, okay, that's great, but we don't want to give them anything, you know. So if I can clean up anything, it's that.
There's been a lot of talk of the offense, putting in a whole new offense. I know on defense,
Right.
You're changing the format, you know, changing the scheme a little bit. But is there as much change going on defense as there is on offense? Or
I don't think so.
Okay.
You know, and I mean, you know, it's cover 1, cover 0, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. So, you know, you can't change that up too much, you know. And so for me, it's not about the coverage or it's not about the scheme. It's about the players within the scheme. And to me, we want them to know what they're doing, you know, and play hard and fast.
So how do you get somebody to be more physical?
Well, I always tell people this: if you want your football team to tackle, you have to tackle. And so you can't always go live. Understand that, because you can't, you know, you can't get people hurt. But the goal is, in order to tackle, you got to bring your feet and your eyes. And so we try to work that, you know, as much as possible and harp on, you know, your feet, your eyes, and then, you know, your arms and your hips and all that. So I think the more that you force them to do it, the better off you'll be at tackling.
You said coming into the spring you were going to find out if Corey Bell could cover one-on-one and handle that part of that position. How's he done with that particular part of the transition?
Corey's done well. You know, he's a guy that, I mean, he's always in here. You know, he's smart. He works hard. And the thing about him is he wants to be able to do it. So he's the type of kid, if you tell him he can't do something, he's going to, you know, he's going to strive to prove you wrong. And so he's working hard right now. He's making a lot of plays on the ball. I think he may be leading the team as far as interceptions right now. So that's good to see as well. But he's getting better.
how hard is that transition to go from being more of a linebacker to all of a sudden having to guard slot guys and play more man coverage? Is that tough? Or?
It can be tough, you know, but, I mean, he can do it, you know, and he's doing it. And so, you know, he's basically playing the same position he was playing, except it's changed from Sam linebacker to nickel now, so it's just a name. So, you know, he's still doing, you know, he's still doing a whole lot of the same things that he was doing, except, you know, he'll just be a little bit in, you know, and the man a lot more now, you know. So that's it. And if there's ever a game that it's a guy that he can't be out there with, that's on me as a coach, you know what I mean, to help him out a little bit. So, but he's doing good right now.
Is there anybody else's position that's changed much from last year? What you asked him to do?
No, that's it. He's the only one. You know, so he's the only one.
2 weeks in, who's caught your eye on defense? Who
Corey
you
Bell.
liked? Yeah.
Tanner Vallejo, Tyler Gray, Kamalea, Darian Thompson. You know, he's playing well right now.
Yeah.
He's playing at another level right now. So, you know, he's a guy also that, you know, I think he's buying into hitting people, and, you know, he's playing fast as well. Ante Dion is playing well right now. So, you know, we got a bunch of guys I think that are getting better.
Last year, you know, obviously struggled, and inexperience was a huge part of that. All those guys you just mentioned got a lot of playing time last
Right.
year. How nice is this for you to inherit so much experience on that side of the ball?
That's good. You know, it's real good for you, for them also, you know, because they feel like they're not an so, you know, it'll be good for them heading into the season, knowing exactly how to play, you know, how to make calls and stuff like that. The one thing they're doing well is they're talking to each other. And, you know, that's the one thing I want them to understand is you got to talk on defense. You know, and it's also, to me, when an offense sees a defense that's talking, to me that can be a perception of, okay, man, these guys know exactly what they're doing. And so, to me, that's the one thing I want to harp on, communication and being physical.
Several people have mentioned Kamale as well as a guy who's really caught your eye. How has he caught your eye, and what do you think, you know, projection for him is in the future?
He can run, you know, and the one thing we want is we want hitters and runners on defense. So, you know, he's a guy that's he can help us out because he's a guy that can put his hand down, but he can also stand up. And so for that and our style of play, you know, he can help us out a lot as far as doing a whole lot of things with him.
Doing some on Steve Caldwell, and what, your first experience with him, what's he brought to the staff? What's your impression been of him?
Steve Caldwell, the first word I can think of is energy. You know, he brings that energy. You know, you can hear him on the football field no matter where you're at. And he coaches the kids up hard. You know, he loves them, he cares about them, and he just brings that fire, which you want at that D-line position. You know, you want to set the tone up front. So, you know, he's a guy that brings that fire.
It's funny, it's known as a young, energetic staff, and he's the most veteran guy around here,
No
and
doubt.
that's the first word anybody brings up with him.
Yeah, energy, exactly. Old school energy.
Important to get somebody, though, with experience, because a lot of the coaches on the staff are young. It seemed to me he was a big hire.
He was a big hire. You know, he's smart. You know, he's done it at, you know, each level. And so he knows a lot about D-line. And, you know, he kind of helps me out a lot, you know, as far as calls and stunts and stuff like that. So, yeah, you know, but all those guys can help me out. All those guys help me out. Andy Avalos is a guy, too, that coached the D-line. You know, and so because he was a linebacker, he played linebacker, he coached linebacker, and he coached D-line. I mean, those two are the main two guys that kind of get ideas off of as far as our front and our run game and fits and stuff like that. And then with Coach Brown also being a corner and me having experience on the back end, you know, it kind of works out pretty well.
You said when you got hired, Coach Brown was going to get tired of you because you're going to be hanging around the secondary.
Right.
Has that been the case, or have you been trying early on to see all the different?
I actually started because I didn't want to get on his nerves. I started away from him, and I still lean over there a little bit, you know. But he knows, you know, I'm gonna be on his butt now to make sure, you know, that secondary. Because if it's anything that, I mean, just being honest with you, with me being a secondary guy, the one thing we can't be bad at is in the secondary. All right, because people gonna go, okay, you coach the secondary, so you know he's feeling that pressure, you know, and I'm feeling that pressure too. So if there's one position we got to be good at, it's the secondary, you would think. So, you know, but he's been doing good, you know, and they're getting better, you know, between him and Coach Ward. I mean, they're getting those guys going. We changed up a few things that they're doing, but they're getting better.
You taking an effort, though, maybe early on to make sure you spend extra time at the other spots, too, to kind of see what you have there and things like that? Or?
Just learning from those guys and what they're teaching, you know, because with me for me, I need to know exactly what's going on in the front end because I know what's going on in the back end, you know. I know that, like, that's the easy thing for me at this point. So I just want to hear those guys teach those guys so I can put that together as far as my calls and stuff like that.
This was a big step up for Juice. What gave you the you know, made you believe he could do this? He could handle you know, sort of a big step up in his career this year.
Well, just going back to when I coached Juice as a player, he was always smart. He was a smart football player. He knew everything, you know, and he's a hard worker. And so when you put those things together as far as a coach, then you probably have you know, a good coach. He can recruit, you know, he knows talent, and he wants to be great. And so, you know, he takes pride in it. And so he was a no-brainer.
You mentioned the bus today. Was that largely in the secondary or everybody involved in some of that
Everybody,
stuff?
you know, I mean, on offense and defense. You know, it was those are the things that you need to clean up as a football team. And so if guys can just do their job, okay, now you get to the point to where as a coach you say, okay, it's my job to get you to make this play now. But if you're not even lined up in the right spot, okay, you know, we got a problem. So, you know, we had a few busts today we got to fix. But as far as the effort, it was great effort out there today.